Kaguya is powerful, and the bold claim for today's video is that Kaguya is not weaker than Momoshiki at all. I argue that she's actually stronger based on canon evidence. Welcome back to the channel for yet another yap session by yours truly. For some odd reason, people are scaling Boruto characters 2 levels above Shippuden in general, and it's got me confused. They're genuinely placing Sarada and Sasuke 2 levels beyond Kaguya and Hagoromo respectively. In this video I'm going to be explaining the Naruto chakra system in a way that should help make a bit more sense, and I'll also be breaking down some common myths, one of which includes Sasuke and Naruto's adult forms being stronger than their war versions, and by extension Kaguya. It's really a lot to unpack, so I'm gonna start from the very beginning. I'll only be using both the Naruto and Boruto mangas, as one of the main reasons we have a scaling problem in the first place is because of the novels. In Boruto, we're told that in order for there to be a divine tree, there has to be an Otsutsuki sacrifice that will be fed to a Tento seedling so that the seed can turn into a divine tree. The remaining Otsutsuki is then left to look after the tree as it slowly grows and cultivates a chakra fruit, hence why they, Otsutsuki, travel in pairs. After all that time, a chakra fruit is created, which they then eat to evolve. But wait, how can there be a divine tree on planet Earth before Kaguya and Isshiki, and why was she able to eat a chakra fruit if one of them has to kill themselves? Logically, that's how it's supposed to go. But then my little theory suggests that before Kaguya and Isshiki, another pair came and planted the divine tree. There are some instances hinting towards that, and one of them is literally why both Isshiki and Kaguya are still alive, yet a divine tree still stands. When Sasuke visits the hiding place of Kara's Ten-Tails, he discovers a mural that shows the Otsutsuki pairs that have come to the planet. The first two are Kaguya and Isshiki, then it's Momoshiki and Kinshiki. Among the two pairs, there is a third pair, but the mural is destroyed, so Sasuke was unable to view who they were. My theory is that the first ever Otsutsuki pair came to the planet and planted a Ten-Tail seedling. One of them sacrificed themselves, obviously, and the other, who was supposed to look after the fruit, likely died for some reason. We don't know about these two yet, but let's assume they both died as their murals are destroyed. Now that we have an idea about the timeline, let's understand what exactly the Ten-Tails, the Divine Tree, and the Chakra Fruit actually are. Upon sacrificing the Otsutsuki, Ten-Tails reforms and becomes a huge world tree. The tree grows for 1,000 years, as per Madara Uchiha's words, whilst also creating the Chakra Fruit. Sounds harmless, right? Yeah, the problem is the chakra fruit uses everything as a source of nutrition because its roots spread out throughout the planet. This includes people, animals, trees, fish, whales, rocks, water, sand, everything. It takes everything. The only good thing about this is that the process is slow, and because of that, the Earth's population remains relatively balanced and nature is able to regenerate itself over time. After all of this theft of energy from people and animals, rock and trees alike, the chakra fruit is born. The chakra fruit is simply the energy aggregate of every single living thing on the planet, as well as the natural systems that support that life on the world itself. Though Earth's in particular is mainly nourished by the blood of old wars that's been saturating the planet's surface over time. But it also takes a lot from nature as well. The genetic information that allows Otsutsuki to evolve comes in the form of chakra from the population, and the natural systems are just pure natural energy ranging from the movement of water to the burning of lava, and perhaps the generation of steam when both of these are combined, for example. This pure nature energy later becomes the Biju, but more on that later in the video. When those two energy types are combined, you get Senjutsu Chakra that's on a completely different level. This is, by definition, planetary sage mode, or what is more commonly known as Six Paths Senjutsu, though only when you also have the Rinnegan, since Six Paths refers to the Rinnegan's 6 main abilities. This is why Naruto and Sasuke each possess these aspects to fight, a more complete user of Six Paths Sage mode through Madara Uchiha. More on this later though. Once Kaguya eats the chakra fruit, she becomes the god of the world and rules it through power. Logically, Kaguya should have killed everyone back then, as Zetsui implies, but Kaguya later admits to everyone that Earth is her precious nursery, meaning she saw value in everything the planet had to offer. That's then why she decided not to kill everyone but rule them. This then leads to her attachment with the world, and then soon leads to her first pregnancy. After some time since conquering the world, Kaguya gives birth to 2 children who are each born with their own chakra. Hagoromo, aka Sage of Six Paths in particular, is the outlier here because he's born with the Rinnegan. The anime shows him having the Byakugan and such, that's why I just say, let's ignore all filler for now. Hamura is the younger brother who possesses the Byakugan, and his genes later become the Hyuga clan. Kaguya later regrets having these children because she clearly isn't the only god anymore, and that threatened the dictatorship she had built all this time. To eliminate the threat, she's forced to fight her sons, and this is when Kaguya realized that the boys are actually almost as powerful as her when combined. This then led to her becoming the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki in order to gain the upper hand. Her merging with the Ten-Tails is what makes her one of the strongest beings in the series, only behind Shibai, and maybe level with full power Isshiki, since we don't really know the extent of his powers. He's definitely stronger than the version that was forced to reincarnate through Jigen's body though, since it only took a single sliver of the chakra fruit to defeat him, aka Kurama's chakra. Here's my reasoning for my scaling this time. Remember how we need an Otsutsuki sacrifice to give birth to a divine tree? Kaguya taking in the Ten-Tails is the equivalent of absorbing not only the tree/Ten-Tails itself, but also the Otsutsuki sacrifice from the very beginning. Ten-Tails itself is seen being used as a chakra battery by Isshiki, so they still have huge amounts of chakra even before being turned into a tree and absorbing nature energy from the world. Jigen actually absorbs his juvenile Ten-Tails chakra right before going to fight Hokage and Uchiha, so this is also probably why he was able to make a mockery out of them. On top of the chakra fruit, this assimilation grants her the Ten-Tails powers, and in addition, the original sacrifices life force and powers since the Ten-Tails ate them in the beginning. May I remind you that it took a single Otsutsuki sacrifice to make Momoshiki go from being somewhat relative to the 5 Kage to overall eclipsing them and almost being a threat to full-powered Kurama. I say almost because, well, he is not. More on this later though, so back to the fight between Kaguya and her boys. Hagoromo and Hamura banded together and fought Kaguya before eventually sealing her, taking all of her chakra and creating the moon via the 6 Paths Chibaku Tensei. Keep in mind that Hagoromo left the husk of the Ten-Tails on the moon, so he only took the chakra fruit's energy, leaving behind the Ten-Tails/Kaguya since they had merged at this point. After this, Hagoromo becomes the strongest being in the series, only behind Shibai because he becomes the chakra fruit's holder on top of being born with the same levels of chakra already embedded into his being. This is where he now becomes the Sage of Six Paths. Upon this success, Hagoromo lived until old age, where he then decides to split the pure natural energy he took from his mother into 9 different titanic chakra monsters through his creation of all things. These are the Biju, and this is what starts the tale of Jinchuriki and how humanity becomes enslaved by their own curse of hatred. Are we still together? Because I know it's a lot to take in, but now I'll explain just why Momoshiki does not compare to Kaguya. The first idea of Momoshiki was conceived by Sasuke when he landed in the Ice Dimension's castle, where he found Kaguya's scrolls that he couldn't read even with his ocular jutsu. He then briefly fights Kinshiki, supposedly the weaker of the two, himself and Momoshiki, to a stalemate before returning to the village unharmed. Once the scrolls were decoded, Sasuke claims Momoshiki must have been a great threat to the likes of Kaguya, for her to be preparing an army for him. People use this quote from Sasuke to determine that he must be stronger than Kaguya, he being Momoshiki. And since Naruto, Sasuke and Boruto, mainly just Naruto honestly, managed to kill Momoshiki, they believe Naruto and Sasuke are then stronger than Kaguya. Let me prove to you how silly this actually is to believe. The first thing to address here is that adult Naruto and Sasuke are weaker than their war selves. Naruto in particular doesn't have the same amounts of chakra he did in the war, whereas Sasuke doesn't have the same levels of chakra he got from Hagoromo. Why? Because they don't show the same traits they did back then, but I'll explain first on Naruto. This isn't to say his KCM in Boruto isn't Sage of Six Paths mode by name. Naruto calls it exactly that when he talks to Kurama during Baryon mode, and he isn't wrong to call it that. People fail to realize that this isn't the same thing as Six Paths Sage mode. Let me explain why that is. In chapter 686, Hagoromo mentions how in order for his chakra and soul to be summoned, we need only Kurama's chakra, Indra's chakra, and Ashura's chakra. So in theory, we don't need the other tail beasts to generate Hagoromo's aka Six Paths chakra. But what we do need to achieve Six Paths Sage mode at its peak is with Ten-Tails chakra, aka the chakra fruit's energy that he took from Kaguya, and then split into 9 Biju. Madara, Obito, and also Naruto throughout the war managed to collect all of the Biju, even though each of them got pieces of the whole thing. On top of the chakra, you should also be capable of manipulating natural energy, otherwise you'll just end up like Obito. It's why Madara gains the full rap and Obito getting the disabled version, since only one of them knows how to use natural energy or use Sage Mode. This is also why Naruto learning Toad Sage Mode is one of the most important things to happen in the series. To further add on to this, Naruto's first ever KCM resembles the Sage of Six Paths in more ways than one. The first obvious link is the Otsutsuki horns, the second sign is the Yasaka Makatama markings, and then the third is having the ability to perform Wood Style. Yeah, Naruto knows Wood Style, he just doesn't do it consciously like Hashirama does, and he does it consciously only once when he reseals Nine Tails in his psyche. Even the Kyuubi himself says, "This is the Six Paths," in questions exclamation. So then, what's the difference between Sage of Six Paths mode and Six Paths Sage mode? Simply, you add planetary natural energy to Sage of Six Paths mode in order to generate or unlock Sage of Six Paths Sage mode. But wait, hold on. Naruto uses Son Goku's lava release Rasen Shuriken against Delta, and we all know that he uses this only when he tapped into Six Paths Sage mode, because Six Paths Sage mode is made of the Biju's chakra, and Naruto currently does not have that. This is unexplained and leaves a lot to interpretation, but I assume it's either Naruto knows how to use the jutsu after the war, or Son Goku lent him strength in that moment and left it at that. Either of these makes sense because 1. Six Paths Sage mode is said to give the user an understanding on all of nature, so Naruto might just be capable of performing all 5 elements and some Kekkei Genkai even after the war has ended. Option number 2 is that Son lent him a hand from wherever he is in the world, remotely, and left it at that. Sasuke on the other hand still has the Rinnegan because it's a genetic mutation from having received Hashirama cells from Kabuto. Sasuke meets Hagoromo because his heart was pumping out Hagoromo's chakra, since Indra's, his, and Hashirama's chakra manifested Six Paths chakra from being healed by Hashirama's cells. Sasuke is able to summon Hagoromo because he is a kind-hearted person, the same reason why Hashirama was able to summon Six Paths from the body of Madara, and also why Naruto was able to do so as well in his psyche. Sasuke's Rinnegan is said to be given to him by the Six Paths, but I think Kabuto played a huge role in its upbringing, but more in this on a separate video if I really have to. Six Paths just gives him the most optimal Rinnegan to ever pop out of the verse when they meet in his mental scape. So, in theory, Sasuke should still be able to use Onyx Chidori in Boruto, and yet he does not. My add-on theory then is that Hagoromo actually gave them his sealing jutsu on top of chakra when they were preparing to fight Madara/Kaguya. This is why he was able to use Onyx Chidori for as long as he did until he couldn't anymore. The second thing to address is Momoshiki's immensely underwhelming powers. After absorbing Ikinshiki, he does become more powerful than the Kage, but he still isn't on Kaguya's level at all. Not even on Naruto and Sasuke's. Gaara's sand is most certainly not stronger than the Susanoo, the same Susanoo that Kaguya was easily taken down against Naruto and Sasuke. I say this because Momoshiki was unable to really do anything against the Susanoo-clad Kurama avatar, a combo that can easily be intercepted if you're strong and fast enough, something Momoshiki is not, but Jigen with Isshiki's karma is. Kaguya on the other hand was able to take down on multiple occasions a more powerful Six Paths amped Susanoo, so AP-wise it easily goes to Kaguya. The last thing to address is that Momoshiki dies to a massive Rasengan, and Madara, an entity weaker than Kaguya, survived a lava release Rasen Shuriken, a jutsu that's way stronger than base Naruto's massive Rasengan. Madara at this point possesses the Ten Tails chakra and has become too strong to die. This also puts Jubidara above Momoshiki. I'll make a video on this if I have to. Later on, Kaguya takes 9 different Rasen Shuriken, each of which was pumped with the energy of the world, i.e. the Biju, and comes away unscathed. Do you know how insane this is? You could say she absorbed them, but that's directly contradicting the fact that the chakra actually affected the Biju chakra inside of her. So she did in fact tank the most sublime jutsu to come out of Naruto's resolve. Kaguya on top of that has space-time ninjutsu that she can use at any given moment, at any given time, to take her to any given location. Though, as we've covered already, I barely see Momoshiki doing anything to Kaguya's defenses. He doesn't have the strength to do anything to her other than his taijutsu, which he wouldn't even get a chance at performing anyway given her powers. I think her fear of Momoshiki, if you want to call it that, comes from his combatant nature, since Kaguya herself seems to be extremely passive. She probably must have also assumed that he'd come prepared, like some time after accumulating not one but maybe more Otsutsuki sacrifices. I appreciate you watching until the end, and if this video actually helped you see the power scaling in a different light, drop a like and hit the subscribe button, as that helps the channel a lot. If not, still do like the video and let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. With that said, that was me, and I will see you in the next one.
Your life is everything. You serve every purpose. You should subscribe now.